It's a video on how to use the roulette-calculator.com dealer tracker, which is basically looking for dealer signature and giving you an idea of the distance that dealers on average are spinning. Of course, the ball can tinkle off or do really odd spins, but that's part of it. But what you're looking for here is groupings and finding a dealer that maybe on one of their spin directions spins the ball incredibly evenly. Now, I generally look for dealers that have fallen asleep virtually, that have been at the table on and off for shifts for hours, and find one that is not trying to mess with you, not trying to really alter their spin from slow, medium to fast every time, but really quite giving a very even spin on whichever direction. So you've got the initial spin direction of the ball. The ball is going to spin left. If you need to change that on your first spin, you can, or you can look at the numbers that have come in, work back, and then work out which spin direction they're going to spin from. Beware, some dealers can sometimes mess this up and change their spin direction, but that is quite rare. And now you can calculate the depth into the number of spins that you want to log. Maybe they started off really even, but then after a while they do vary their spin. So you might want a shallower spin direction logging, and if they're very consistent, you want a deeper one to really see sort of long-term consistencies. I'm just going to put sort of 9 in for the moment, and just enter some numbers in quite randomly to start with. 7, 10, and 8, and that'll highlight up now the distance that the ball has spun. Last time it was going to go spin right, and it was spinning from 8, where basically the distance it went to. Obviously that's too early to bet, and let's say it went to 26. We've got here it went to 18, and I can start to see that I am entering the data in a way that is grouping it. But you will find that you'll get many dealers that on certain spin directions that they are very, very even. And so on this one, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an example, just randomly entering some data in at sort of the kind of thing that you will see. Okay, on this, you can see for this example very quickly that there is a small pattern arising here, where the majority of the time the dealer spins it, it goes that distance from the last spin. So it's spinning from 23, and it pretty much goes to the opposite side of the board. Find some dealers, when they spin on certain directions, go very close to where they spun from, which works very nicely with the area key positive. Sometimes I run this tool and the area key alongside each other, but basically you can use this tool on its own and bet just in the heavily hit areas. You don't want to bet every spin, you only want to bet on spins that you can see where there's groupings, and obviously the ball can still tinkle off somewhere completely different and possibly build up another grouping. There are other methods where you put a neighbour's bet on, you'd bet on less, say 6, but you'd bet a neighbour's bet on every one that's come in, so you're hitting the areas that generally are hitting from the distance of being spun. So there's lots of ways to customize this tool, use it, and sometimes you find a number that just keeps being hit on the distance, well, not the actual number, but the distance keeps being hit exactly. When you find a dealer like that, that's when you can make some really big wins. I've seen a lot of systems out there that have taken £600 up to thousands upon thousands and within a few spins. That's generally the system that people are using when they're doing that. They're finding a dealer that's very consistent and then has a number that, well, a distance that they're hitting more often than not on a certain spin. And that's when they'll bet big. It doesn't always work. Roulette's a game of chance. The ball can spin off, but if you can see groupings and you can find a good dealer with a good dealer signature, obviously they do change. Sometimes dealers can be adorable one day and hideous the next. So really sort of find a dealer that's being consistent, bet for a short amount of time, keep monitoring them, bet again for a short amount of time. I found this tool to be very effective. I've taken, I think, £2.50 up to several £100s on more than one occasion, literally just using the comp points and then building those up, just doing this. And it's a very effective tool, but again, it's very dealer specific. And if a dealer sees that you're winning consistently, they might start messing with their spins. You might see them really whapping the ball around on one spin and then hardly pushing the ball in the next on the same direction. So look out for that. If a dealer starts messing with you, change table, go away from it for a while, find a different dealer. Immersive roulette's quite good, the one that slows it down and zooms in, because you can see sort of really how the ball's spinning and jumping around. And at the moment, the tool has only got a one button to submit roulette spins. I really need to put a second button in for a bad roulette spin. So where the balls literally run around the rim so many times that the result really can't be added to the average of what's happening. But that's basically a dealer signature tool. It's very effective. There's some really expensive ones out there that people are charging £400, £500, £600 for. I mean, one guy's charging £2,000 for. In essence, they're doing this, and they've built them into little applications. The cool thing with this is it'll work on your mobile phone, so you can do this from a distance, watching different dealers at casinos, and then you can work out basically generally the distance from the ball that's spun. I mean, here it's 23, you can see it's pretty much the opposite side of the table, and so you can walk up and pretty much have that knowledge in your head and do that visually. And I would say that's probably one of the most effective ways at winning at roulette. And I mix, as I said, dealer tracker with area key, and I have a bit of fun with it really. And that's the key of the game, really, having some fun. So dealer tracker. Anyway, hope you find it useful.